I'm
Bill.
a board member, and then I run. kind of what I was thinking.
It's spring break.
Coming to you live.
Yes, live.
Welcome to the Ref Room.
Hockey talk for parents, players, coaches, and fans.
Text everyone you know. Facebook, chat, tweet, buzz, bling. I don't know. Just do what you have to do.
This is the Ref Room with Scott and Brad.
Come on, come on, come on. It's about to go down.
The Ref Room starts right now.
Yes, it does. It starts exactly right now. It's time to have lunch with us. Break out your peanut butter and jelly sandwich so Brad can have something to eat, his favorite meal. Welcome.
Thanks.
It is Wednesday. We have a very special show today because we have a very special guest that is going to join us. And for those of you that are familiar with Blackhawk hockey, Ice Dogs hockey, University of Wisconsin hockey, just about all the teams in Chicago, he is the man when it comes to hockey skills and skating. His name is Mr. Kevin Delaney, and we would like to welcome him to the Ref Room. What's going on, Kevin?
Hey, Scott. Hey, Brad. Great. Thanks for having me on. It's the Ice Hogs, not Ice Dogs.
Yeah.
Did I say dogs? I'm sorry.
Yes, you did.
And I would have sworn
Brad.
Brad.
I'm sorry.
They're on tonight. You can watch tonight. They're playing the Wolves tonight.
Awesome.
On AHL.com. You can.
Are they playing here or are they playing in Rockford?
I believe they're playing in Rockford.
So I understand that Rockford just got like a deal with the Hawks for like $23 million. They're going to renovate the stadium there, and all kinds of changes have taken place. Can you catch us up on that a little bit?
Well, I don't know much of the particulars of the sale, but yes, the Blackhawks purchased the Ice Hogs, so and the Bank of Montreal Harris Center, and will be operating that from now on. So
awesome.
How it normally happens, the city of Rockford paid to have the rights to the team, and the Blackhawks just played all their players and personnel there.
They got a cool logo too. I love the logo on the jersey. So,
very cool. Staff and everyone there. Great to work with, players. It's fun logo. It's not fun not having fans this year, but at least they're playing.
Just when do you think we're actually going to see fans in the stadiums? Do you think? Actually, my wife's the company she works for. She's in the real estate business. They had a something they sent out. They were going to give away tickets if you could figure out the first day the Blackhawks would have somebody in the stands. Do you think it'll happen this year? Do you think they'll have them for playoffs? I mean, we're getting some people in for Wrigley Field. It's limited, but we do have some fans. Do you think they'll let them bring fans in for the playoffs?
I hope so. I don't. That's more of a city and state government decision, not out of my area of expertise. But I would. I mean, and I'm sure the players would love to have fans in there. I mean, it's
sure.
You can only do so much with cardboard cutouts of people in the seats.
Yeah, it's tough.
Well,
the energy.
Looking at that, speaking of that, with the cardboard cutouts, did you see that last second shot in the NCAA game? And then the guy went to celebrate, jumped up on the table, and it was him in front of a bunch of cardboard cutouts celebrating. Did you guys see that? They pointed it out the other day.
I didn't see it, that is good.
The one thing, Scott, I can tell you is yesterday the state came out and said that they thought that we'd start to be entering phase 5, hopefully by the end of May. So, that's what the state said. So that's not
crazy
our topic,
times.
so.
I mean, I opened up Facebook today and I saw something about Vancouver. Vancouver's got 18 players now in protocol or something like that, which is kind of interesting. I don't really want to go down that road, but you've been in a bubble for how long, Kevin? I mean, you guys are working out of a bubble. What's it like?
Yeah, I've been in the bubble since the start of the season in January, and it is being safe and cautious and getting tested every day, wearing a mask everywhere. Limiting, keeping a distance around people in the locker room, not cramming 8 people into an office to look at video like we normally do. It's, wearing a mask. Coaches wear a mask on the ice at all times. So, I mean, it's just being safe and practicing what everyone's being told to. The testing is is even if a day off, you still have to go in and get tested.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Are
That's amazing.
So, I mean,
hey, Kevin, are you
Yes.
guys seeing like more one-on-one time, like extra ice time added in order to have less coaches on the ice? I didn't think of asking you that beforehand, but I was just curious if they were breaking it more into smaller groups or.
At the pro level?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a typical day.
Okay.
We have the practice facility to ourselves when we're there. So the goalie coach goes on with the goalies. Peter Aubrey, you're a former goalie, right, Scott?
I am.
So you can
I
appreciate.
am.
Yeah. So,
Very few people know that because I gave it up
Yeah.
at a smart age. I got out of it. It's a young man's spot to play.
Right. But so Peter Aubrey goes on with the goalies, and then I'll go on with injured players or guys that are coming back in the lineup, and then we do skills before the practice. So Brad, to answer your question, it's just business as usual, but we do have a lot of time to work with the players. It's a nice development model that we have. There are a lot of other coaches. Yannick Perot's working with the centers with their face-off. Brian Campbell, Anders Sorensen, working with the defensemen. Kendall Coyne and Eric Condra, Mark Eaton all help out with the forwards. Eaton's with the defense, and Derek King, the head coach, oversees everything and makes sure that we're working on everything that he feels the team needs to work on. So, and
That's awesome.
Adam Gill, the video coach, is very helpful as well. So it's a good crew, Brad. So I mean, they're getting the attention that they're
Gotcha.
more than.
I was just curious because
Yeah.
we're not there every day for a typical day, so even just a slight insight's a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the reasons I wanted to bring Kevin on is Kevin is a master when it comes to teaching skating. And I know that I was fortunate enough, I went to a couple of your like drop-in clinics that you offer, and you offer them for not only the young people, but for the adults as well. And I could tell you, doing a couple of those, you made me feel like I could not even skate the first 2 days I did those because I had never really worked on the edge work and how important it is. And this is before I started reffing. And I'll tell you what, when I got to reffing and started going to the skating seminars that we offered, I was able to do the drills because I learned all that stuff from just a couple of days in your classes. Edge work is just so critical, especially to what referees do, because we're trying to skate very efficiently and we're out there for long periods of time. And of course, you've got to be working in tight spaces, getting out of the way and making the tight turns and things of that nature. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the drills and some of the things that we might want to be working on as referees and things that you see? Because you coach, you see a lot of us out there all the time. I'm sure you see some things continuously that could be worked on or improved upon for us, and maybe you'd share some of those suggestions today.
Yeah. So yeah, it's what I teach, or as you said, I get players out of people out of their comfort zone.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. And a lot of it is, derived. Some of it's some figure skating. It's, I have people do things on one leg, unilateral leg strength. So there are a lot of times in a game when players get knocked one way and they have to keep their balance on the other foot, or they're taking a shot, and I'm leaning in out of the frame while I'm talking. But
that's all right.
But so the edges and the balance, the center of gravity, are we want to focus on when you're doing those the teaching of the skating. And
now you won't be out of frame, Kev.
Okay, I just want them to get the real feel.
Let you weave and bob a little bit.
Yeah. So, yeah, how it applies to hockey, to referee. Yes, referees. You don't have a stick. You don't have anything balancing.
Yeah.
The players have one hand on the stick, two hand on the stick. That stick helps them with their balance. You guys, as referees, got to skate up the ice, up and down the ice. And you have to use your body to balance your body. And yes, you have to stop, turn, jump, grab the glass, and get out of the way. So, I mean, anything that I'm doing with the coaches, not the coaches, the players, the referees can benefit from the skating standpoint.
Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting because I was at Fifth Third. This was probably a year ago, more than a year ago, actually. It would have been 2 seasons ago when everything was actually opened, I guess. And I saw you out there working with just one player that had come back. I don't know if he was just working on skating skills with you or if he was, coming off an injury or whatever the case may be. But, it was really interesting to watch you work with these guys because we could notice there were a few referees standing around and he goes better to one side than he does to the other. And he's better when the puck is in play versus when there's no puck in play for him. And it was cool. You had him coming over the boards, like jumping into play, making the turns, and you could just see how you were trying to fix, I'll just say, a small flaw. And it's not a flaw. These guys are all great skaters, but you can pick out, does he move better to the left or does he move better to the right? We all have that dominant, strong leg. And, for some of us, I know for myself, I can C-cut a little bit better off the right leg than I can off the left leg. Obvious,
right.
Because that's just the way we probably do it all the time. But, how do you fix those guys? What do? You just continuously work on the muscle memory for those guys to get them to that point where they can just take off from either direction? Because when we did the skating skills with you, I noticed a week or two later when I went back to pick up a puck and turn and get it, it was just so much easier and faster. It was like, wow, I actually got this. I mean, I figured it out. And these are the things that we see when we get somebody of your level that teaches us these things.
Yeah, it's definitely muscle memory and repetition. The pros are doing this every day. They're used to skating and doing things a certain way, and it's our job as the development coaches to kind of show them different things, different ways of doing things that just little tweaks like outside edge. Use your outside edge more when you're turning. Shooting off different feet. So it's just things that they already know how to do. And maybe they've done it before when they're playing. We're just pointing it out to them and talking about it with them and bring it to their attention. So, and repetition, they're not comfortable going to their backhand when they're pivoting, right? So it's just getting them comfortable and getting in the habit of doing it just as well to one side as it does on the strong side.
And now you've got some really great videos up. I believe they're on Facebook. I saw some of them. Do you want to give us a link that we could put in the description for guys so that they can check out some of these different skills and things that you teach with the Edgework? People don't realize how much the referees use their edges out there, but when you're making the very short turns and quick turns and getting out of the way, it's all inside and outside edge work, and it's so important. A lot of people know about it. A lot of people don't know about it. If you're, a newer player, you're a newer referee, you're going to learn some of this stuff over time because Brad's going to teach you if you go to the ADP program or whoever he's got out there doing the skating. But these are really critical to improving to get to that point. And you're never going to pass that level 4 test if you can't do the edge work.
Right. I have Instagram is @DelaneyHockey. And then I have a YouTube channel with over 400 videos. And then I have their playlists. So it has power skating, shooting, drills, obstacle course. But the power skating
right. We'll
playlist.
pop some of this stuff in the description so you guys can check it out. We have a couple people that have already checked in with us. So for those of you that are just joining us, welcome. We have the man, Kevin Delaney. He is the skating coach for the Chicago Blackhawks and the Rockford Ice Hogs, as well as University of Wisconsin and many other teams. He's got a son that plays for the Mission. Are you actively involved with Mission with their skating and practices, or who are you working with? You used to be with CY. I mean, you get around, Kevin.
Yeah. Anyway,
okay.
So no,
next stop.
Yeah, I'm just a parent, Scott. I love going to Fifth Third and just being a parent and observing.
Okay, that's a good
just
answer.
Watching it and let it be his sport. Yeah,
right.
He doesn't want me around on the ice. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So they have very, very qualified coaches over there. Michael Pavanka, Michael Roosevelt, Greg Tammer as coaches. Gino Cavallini does a great job as the director. then Brian Kane's over there helping out with the skills. So and Anders Sorensen, when he's out of the bubble next season, he'll be around more. So they have a very competent and experienced coaching staff. So I just sit next to Marty Lapointe and watch. So that's a good guy to watch the games with.
So as long as we're on the AAA topic, you and I had a conversation the other day because we've got a new AAA team organization coming into play. By the way, they're advertising, like there's billboards in my neighborhood for them, which is very cool. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts. I mean, we have 4 AAA organizations right now. We're getting a 5th. And we had a conversation about this and the amount of talent. We have enough talent here in Illinois to fill that, obviously. What's your thoughts moving forward as we get a 5th organization in here and hockey continues to grow? We're getting more rinks in the Chicagoland area coming soon. So, what's your thoughts as to where we're going with this? I mean, we're going to take over Michigan and Detroit, or not Michigan, but Michigan and Minnesota for being the hockey capital to go to for all the tournaments and the games?
Exactly. I think it will be good for hockey. It'll be a little watered down at first. A lot of teams competing for the same players, but hockey players are getting better at a younger age. Kids are there are more kids involved. They are competing at the mite level, the 3rd year mite level, 1st year squirt. Some teams are on specialty teams in which they do tournaments and they're basically doing a pseudo AAA type schedule, but they're playing against high top competition. Others will say it's going to water down hockey, but no, I think it's going to be very good for hockey. It'll make Chicago. It's already Chicago's a good hub for hockey. It's going to make it stronger. Yes, it's going to will we have a Chicago league playing against Detroit? I mean, we play in Mission. Mission plays in an HPHL, High Performance Hockey League. We're made up of teams from Detroit. Maybe down the line, more teams come to Chicago to play, so we're not traveling as much. But all in all, the addition of the 5th team, I think, is just better for hockey.
Well, what age group do you start working with the kids? I mean, I know you've worked with some of the mites and you've taught them to skate to get them to the level that they're already playing at, which is pretty amazing because like some of these guys don't look like they can walk or chew gum when you see them, and then they get out on the ice and they like toe drag you and everything else, and it's just like they're programmed little chips. I mean, how do you make this happen, Kevin?
We do when we start them young. I mean, they come out at learn to skate. We do, I typically, before they come to me, I tell the parents, get them on a learn to skate program just to get the feel of being on the ice. I mean, and that will go, well, what's the earliest age? I mean, just depends on the kid. Some kids are fearless and don't care. Other kids, will cry for the first 6 months. You just keep bringing them out there for a little bit at a time. I like to say 4 or 5 is a good age. It's just get them used to skating, learn the skate classes, get the equipment on, learn to play hockey at the park districts. Every park district has a learn to skate or learn to play hockey program. So, I mean, it's anyone can do it. And then from there, it's whether, how much time they want to put into it. They should be playing other sports when they're growing up, not just going to hockey 7 times a week when they're 6 years old.
Yeah.
I was actually going to bring that up on what your opinion was on the single sport athletes that's going on now. Like, because I know, like, when I grew up, I didn't play other organized sports, but I was out there playing with my friends baseball over the summer, or we're playing soccer or basketball. But I'm starting to see a lot more kids. They're just stuck in one sport. Like, I have 2 9-year-olds, but we have them in lacrosse as well, which the 2 games are very similar. But I was just curious. They should be playing at least one other sport, right? In order to, because you don't use all the same muscles for different sports. That's the theory on it. And not only that, what about the mental part of it on these kids? The young ones especially. You're going to the rink 7 days a week. I don't see how that's healthy. But
you're correct.
Pros,
they should
have
do
to.
Right. Well, that's their choice. They wanted, the pros wanted to go that route. They understood the route, the path it took to get to playing juniors, college, and pros. But to answer your question, yeah, kids should be playing other sports. Parents should be giving their kids a break in the summer. A lot of parents ask me, what they should be doing. They, should take a full month off at least in June. Other people take more, which is fine. I mean, the kids do get a lot of hockey, and when they get to, using my son as example, he started working out. He played lacrosse. He played volleyball for school. But it was his decision that he wanted to put it all into hockey, but it wasn't until he was a bantam that he wanted to drop the other sports and put all in the hockey. But he also works out and has a trainer and works on getting his other muscles and his core stronger. But yes, kids should at a younger age should be playing other sports, not just a single sport.
Any sports that you think complement hockey the best for being able to improve?
Well, I played soccer and lacrosse. Fall in the soccer. Soccer was in the fall, and then went right into hockey and lacrosse in the spring season. So I think soccer is good for your footwork, tennis, hand-eye coordination, footwork, mobility, and of course lacrosse for the hand-eye coordination, the speed. The physical contact of lacrosse I love too, because it was so similar to hockey and football.
Well, that was something we were talking about earlier. I mean, you mentioned that you'd like to see a little more contact at a younger age for USA Hockey. What's your thoughts on that, Kevin?
Well, when we're talking about body contact and checking, it's too a little bit more rubbing out, letting the kids play a little bit more. Yeah, not of course no high sticking hit from behind, open height hits, but letting the kids go into boards and rub one another out or a counter hit. It's a little bit more contact. A lot of it is too if kids. You have younger kids reffing the younger age group, so if they haven't played hockey with a lot of contact, it's hard for them to make calls. So
you'd rather see some of the more veteran referees out there in that situation with the young guys.
You try. I know you try to get you want more refs in Illinois, and you got to start them young. So again, it was just at the the Pee-wee level, maybe second year squirt, getting these kids getting used to the body contact just a little bit more. Again, it may open up a whole. I'm not looking for a discussion on injuries or whatever, but
I totally get that. But I know where you're coming from on this. I get it. I want to say hello to a few people that are joining us. First of all, and let's take a few comments. Chris has joined us. Michael Wagner is here. He says baseball is outside from our earlier conversation. Brian says what's happening. Everybody, happy Wednesday. Karen's checking in with us. Brett says I better sign up with him. Yes, you better, Brett, especially after catching that edge, buddy. He will help you in that situation. For those of you who don't know, Brett got a little banged up at one of the games. He caught an edge, but hopefully he's doing better, and we're hoping he's back out there real soon. It happens to all of us.
All of us.
I got beat up pretty good on Saturday. That's all I can say. So
it normally happens when you're least expecting it, and you're not really around anybody, and you just sniper got me.
Of course.
So as we're talking about catching edges, something we can talk about, Brad and Scott, is the way the hollow in which guys are having their and gals are people are getting their skates sharpened.
Oh, that's a great discussion. I'd love to talk about that. What do you think?
So, well, it all depends on the skater and the type of skater. half inch, in theory, half inch is supposed to make you faster because you're just on two edges, but that digs into the ice. And as we're getting into the warmer season, the ice is softer. You don't want to have those edges sticking in the ice. So I'm a big fan of 5/8.
That's really interesting. And I'm actually glad you brought that up because I recently got new skates and I've gone to a little sharper cut. I've gone to the half and I really, really like it. But I notice that, when I'm on really good ice, I feel the edges catching a little bit more into the grooves that are already out on the ice. And I've noticed that a bit more. So you think we should probably be looking at 5/8 instead of a half for
that's when the ice is when the ice is softer. You still have that edge, but it makes you faster because I don't know. I guess like if you've gone skiing before and you're in snow and then you hit a patch of ice on your skis and you kind of go faster on. That's what it's like on 5/8. It's taking the edges up a little bit, so there's more blade on the ice. So you're a little bit faster. But you still have
most of the pros have their skates cut at? Just out of curiosity.
Some are 7/16, some are half inch, some are 5/8. What did I try before? I tried a 1/4 inch before. That was way too slippery. But I mean, between 5/8, half inch, 7/16. Yeah.
And what about profiling the blades? What do you recommend? I mean, there's like 4 profiles, and I never really knew much about this stuff. I just kind of assume, you go to the pro shop, they give you your skates back, and they're comfortable or not. But I've noticed since I got new blades or new skates that my lower back's a lot sorer than it used to be. I feel like I'm sitting back a little bit more on these skates than I were the skates that I was using before.
What are you using?
In terms of yes, CCM Super Tax
CCM.
is the matter.
There we go. Okay. I'm wearing CCM clothing right now.
Okay. So do we have to disclose any sponsorship here or anything like that?
No, not at all. No.
You paid for your own shirt is what you're saying?
Yeah. So out of the box, the profile on the skates aren't too bad. If you're a defenseman, you want more of the blade flat on the ice. If you're a forward, you want a little bit taken off the front of the skate for profiling, because that's where you're getting your push off from the ball, the skate to the toe a little bit more. So, I mean, profiling is good. Don't recommend it for the younger players more when you ban them. Some players, and it's all the size of the strength of the player too. And you want to make sure you have a player has done some growing first to really figure out what type of skater they are. But so profiling is good for the advanced skater, the older skater. It is done, but most of the profiles coming out of the box aren't bad. And so you got to have a good guy to sharpen.
Go ahead, Brett.
I got a great question, because there's a lot of referees out there that I skate with, and they're like, I haven't sharpened my skates in 2.5 years. How many hours, or sessions would you recommend that you get your skates sharpened after? I know the guys at the levels that you're working with have that luxury 24/7. The referees don't. What's good for the recreational player? Let's put it that way.
Again, it's preference. Some people don't. It's preference and the way they play. If you're not nicking up your skates a lot, and you're not cutting them up by walking around the rubber mat with them, or you hit something metal on the bench. But I would say for a recreational player, anywhere 4 or 5 skates or games, of an hour and a half sessions to get them sharpened.
Tell me, do you notice do the players in the NHL, are they all wearing the black blades, or are they still wearing the steel blades? And do you see a difference in the black blades versus the steel blades? You're supposed to be
technical terminology is step steel. Is that what you're talking about, Scott?
Well, step steel makes some of those, but CCM has like the black blade that goes into like some of the Super Tax and some of their top of the line skates, and it's supposedly different from step steel. I don't think step steel makes them for CCM, or do they? I'm not sure. I can't answer that, but
someone's going to have to call in with the technicality on this one. I think CCM bought step steel.
Oh, they did. Okay.
But, so step steel, for our listening audience and viewing audience, that is a higher grade steel used on blades where the edge lasts longer and it doesn't grind down as easy as the out of the box blades do. Scott, yes, the step steel is a far superior product to use for your blades. The edge is held longer. They do not grind down. Do you know when you lose an edge, you take the stone, and you rub it down the side of your skate. Okay, you don't do that, right? Well, we all do it. It's what we we take the sweet stick with the step steel. You don't do that. You just you take it and you just push out the edge with the stone. You don't go up and down. You just take that little nick and you brush out. It's almost like brushing along the gum line. Just push up. You just push down on the neck. Yeah.
I never really did a lot of studying on this, but I actually watched some YouTube videos on the skates and like the differences for a high-end skate versus like buying a more basic model. And they were talking about like profiling the blades. They were talking about all this stuff. And they were saying with these black blades, you're not even supposed to use a stone on them. You're supposed to use a piece of leather because otherwise you're actually taking the coating off. These blades are like $135 for a set of blades, which is not cheap.
So that's why,
if they take the stone to it, they're destroying them basically. So you're ruining your blade at that point. You're taking off the benefit.
Stone, you just rub out that little nick. Just push it out. That's why, you don't want to take off the coat. So that's the first thing that the equipment guys said when they gave me those blades to use. Don't take a stone to them. And I really haven't been. I don't need to.
Yeah. So tell me something. Go ahead,
Scott. I just real quick in the G machine. Yes, CCM did acquire Step Steel, and that was announced on February 3rd of 2020. So it's still a fairly new acquisition.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Yeah. Very cool. I mean,
I've never had a pair of those.
Big fan of Step Steel. I'd like to have a pair of those. They look great, and they're supposed to be an improvement. I know. Eric, who has the ref shop, he's a big fan of some of these black blades and feels that they make a difference. So,
how about this? Ready? Ref Room, brought to you by Step Steel.
There you go. Can we get a check with that, please? Or at least some blades? Yeah,
I'll settle with the blades.
Yeah, I have I wear a size 7 Super Tack. If you want to send the blades over, that would be awesome. Okay.
So I mean, we're talking about sharpening the hollow, the type of blade steel technology. You got new skates, Scott. You and I we skated in the 70s and 80s in leather skates with leather interior. They broke down. So the technology
done in a season, you went through 1 or 2 pair a year if you were playing that much.
Yeah. So so the technology with all the equipment, sticks, skates, has really make it easier for a player to skate. The skate lasts longer. It's lighter. It's nicer on the foot. So.
Yeah, the last 2 pairs of skates I've had, there's been no break-in. Like, you get them heated once, they bake them once, and you can go out there and skate a couple games on them with no problem. You might find a little hot spot here or there that they can take out. I mean, it's really amazing. Like, the quality is, it's phenomenal. It really is. And I didn't realize how bad they were because I actually put the new skates on. The blades were going bad. But I put my old skates on and went and skated the game, and I felt like I was in gym shoes. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how bad there was no support any longer. So you get
that's what I think. Yeah, the CCM skate that they've been wearing for about 5 or 6 years now. Yeah, it's like putting a sneaker on. And when you're wearing a skate as long as I am in one time, 4 to 6 hours. At a time, you want something that's comfortable.
You're like a referee. I mean, that's what we have. You work 2-3 games, and then you take a break, and you're back out there for 2 or 3 more. So,
Yeah.
Kevin, as some of the referees start to get a little bit older in age, not myself, of course, but for the guys that are maturing a little bit more, like
Ageless. You're an
Baumruck,
ageless
like
character.
Brad, that's over 35 years old now.
Yeah.
What are some of the
Yeah,
things
I
that
know.
they should be, working on to stay in good shape and to be able to keep their speed up, keep their flexibility up? What are some of the drills and things you would suggest for the referees to be working on?
Yes. So Scott, I'm up there in age like you, but also an ageless character like
Right.
you are.
Yeah, I got character. I got age too.
Yeah. That's right. So, our muscles are tightening up. Our joints aren't as flexible as normal. And we were talking about earlier when we played back in those days when disco was big. Were you spinning disco records back then?
Disco.
No, I was not.
No, you weren't? Oh, you were just dressing in disco?
I was just wearing the heeling platforms and the seersucker pants. That's all.
Very, very nice. I was wearing Garanimals.
you go.
Anyway.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you were
Sorry.
like a Z Cavalry
Neither does half the audience. So
Sorry.
no, we didn't do much stretching before or after skating. We didn't have to. You're young, but I mean nowadays, even with the mites and squirts organizations are doing, they're not big workouts, but they're just flexibility, mobility, getting the players into a routine before and after, and it prevents injury. And so, I mean, for me, yeah, I have to stretch now. I have to roll out. I have to take a lacrosse ball, kick 2 lacrosse balls, put them in a sock, tie them, and you roll out on your quad. You get them on a bench, and you do your hamstrings. And so, Scott, how do you get that extra stride, flexibility, loosening up, and bending the knees more? I mean, that's what it is. We don't want to bend our knees because it hurts when you're not there, Brad, but it hurts. Even if
I believe you.
Active. So you bend your knees and get that longer push, which your muscles have been warmed up. They've been loosened up. You got a little more elasticity to them, and you're able to stride like you were when you were 40, right?
Gotcha.
So. And then you're able to stack the pads like you were when you were 20, or do that.
Well, I stopped playing goalie before I was 20. Trust me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, but we still would like to see a splits glove save.
Yes, the split
We do
glove
that?
save. No, the kick save. We had a kick save back then. That's
kick
something
save?
you don't see from any goalies anymore, where they kick the leg out and make the save.
can bring
Everything
it
is
back.
butterfly and the legs come out this way. But back in the day, you opened up the leg and you had the kick save. And I was actually pretty good at the kick save.
Yeah.
A little tougher on my left side. Didn't do it as well on my catch glove side. So
We're going to have to get a YouTube video of that, Brad. Next time I'm with Scott. Yeah.
I don't think they
let's
had
get-
YouTube back then, okay? They had, what
no,
was it,
we're gonna make it.
8mm film or something like that your parents had and had to have developed?
Beta film.
Oh, no, there was
I'm
no
gonna.
beta back then either.
No, hey, Brad. Next time I see Scott, I'm gonna. I'll do it. We'll get it going.
Right.
We'll get some knee pads on them, and
I was
we'll
gonna
get
say
them
they got
practice
some
kick
pads
save.
laying around.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Kevin, tell me a little bit about if people wanted to work with you for skating, like as a referee or either as a player, or if they have kids that they want to get into some programs. Can you tell us a little bit about where they can find you and, what they can expect and like the rinks and that sort of thing, and a little bit more about the programs you offer?
Yes, you can find me on DelaneyHockey.com on the web. There's a schedule there. I have Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 a.m. at Heartland for all ages. I haven't been able to go out much because I'm in the bubble, but I have a very highly qualified staff that are able to coach. I got Rock Einerson, who is the assistant coach of the Aurora University girls team. Jonathan Kearns, who's a AAA coach. Peter Como has been coaching with me for a long time. His sister Angela is a professional figure skater. Disney on Ice, Holiday on Ice, and she does lessons at Niles Ice Arena. Kelly O'Connor is another figure skating instructor. So, and we have mites on Saturday morning at Heartland. So there's a lot of options. Angela and Kelly will do private lessons for beginners, or they can sign people up for their groups that they have at Skokie and Niles to learn to skate. So, I mean, there's anyone that wants to improve. We do have the coaches and the ice time to do it.
How many Stanley Cup rings do you have there, Mr. Delaney?
There you go. That was a great question.
Did you put your bling on for us today? No.
Not much into bling, but so I have two. Yeah, two as a skating and skills coach. Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. Congratulations.
Nice.
That is such an accomplishment. What can we look forward to this season with hockey and summer and all that good stuff? You got any? Are you coaching any teams this year? Because we have seen you out there in the past working with some of these youngsters.
No, I'm still in Rockford. Their season we done, I believe, at the end of May. Didn't get to go to Wisconsin this year because of obviously COVID and the bubble they were in. But the women's team won the national championship this year, which was very exciting.
Hey, I'm actually curious, since we're talking about the bubble and we're talking about the NHL. I don't know how much we could talk about this, but how are they going to do playoffs this year? You've got the Canadian teams all up in Canada. You've got the U.S. teams playing here in divisions. Are they going to have a bubble for the playoffs, or have they announced how that's going to work? Because I just haven't heard.
Oh, so I don't know about, but it's the top four, the four teams in each division. And one plays 4, 2 plays 3, and each division plays it out. And the Canadian teams will pick a winner, and I believe we pick a winner, and I'm sure they'll work out a bubble like they did in the summer.
So we don't even know at this point where they are going for that.
I don't know. Brad, you want to check that fact?
Yeah, can you fact check that, Brad?
Actually,
Brad's fact checking. Yeah.
I you know what? I said I was going to be here.
Brad's one of those Facebook
today.
Robots that goes through everything you say and he fact checks it.
God,
I had like 50 of those on my my profiles, just so you know. Brian says, "Congratulations, Kevin. That's on your Stanley Cup rings, because that is quite an accomplishment."
Well, that's the team did it. I just watched.
I know.
Yeah. So, Brad, am I answering a lot of your questions about skating?
Yeah, the one thing that I'm curious about is what's the difference between a lazy skater and a determined skater?
Well, I mean, it has a lot to do with personality. I mean, it's like a body language. A lazy skater, a lazy skater. Their skates aren't tied right. They're not they're standing upright. They're not using their edges. I mean, so does that help?
No, I'm just
a lot of it effort. I mean, when you use the term lazy, it's talk about effort. You talk about improper technique versus proper technique is
there you go.
A better terminology. Yeah, I mean, somewhat there are guys that are awful technique, but they're good hockey players, right? There are guys that don't,
Who's the best skater in the NHL to you? If you had your choice to model somebody after, who would you model him after?
Oh, I used to say Marian Hossa was the poster child for stride, but I mean, McDavid is definitely very, very good skater. I mean, very strong skater. If with the way he uses crossovers to build speed, how powerful he is, how fast he is. Sidney Crosby's a very good skater. Jonathan Toews is an excellent skater as well. The centers are doing a lot of work. You guys don't see it a lot, but they're turning, stopping.
They cover a lot of ice.
Yeah,
they do it very efficiently and very quickly.
You got to be fast, but you don't realize how fast you are until you're doing a drill with him and he's 6 feet in front of you, and
I'm used to having 6 feet in front of me from somebody else when I'm doing a drill. Trust me.
Yeah.
Except, you know,
Well, at
except
least
Brad.
at least
Brad,
you're
Brad
COVID.
goes, I have to slow down and just try to, you know, let him stay in the game a little bit. So.
Yeah,
At least
yeah,
you're-
I need to push.
Yeah,
You know, like
give you that
like
shove
in
from behind.
like like
Acceleration.
in what's that sport called where they go around the rink and try to pass each other? Not speed skating.
Roller derby,
roller hockey,
roller derby.
derby.
Yeah.
Roller derby. You got to give me a swinging arm whip on the way by.
Yeah,
that helps
yeah.
me out.
I could use that. I'm sure the
Yeah.
players would love to grab my arm and give me a push once in a while. So speaking
derby.
of hockey and referees, anything you like to bring up about referees when you see them out there working? I mean, are there some rules that
Well,
you're not crazy about, or something that you'd like to see changed or different in what we do out there, Kevin? And you know, just kind of curious as to your thoughts in terms of coach versus referee when you're out there working games.
It's a thankless job, so I applaud. I take my hat off
Yeah, a Delaney hockey
to all
hat.
referees. No, so no, it's a hard job. I tried reffing when I was in high school, and we had the rink that we were at in Connecticut. Did you ever play at Downers Grove or Carroll Stream?
Actually,
Yep.
I grew up playing there because one of my teammates, his father owned the rink there with Pat Stapleton of the Blackhawks, Whitey Stapleton. They were partners in that place, going back a number of years.
You know how the stands, you can stand on the glass and lean over. Well, that's how the rink was where I started reffing. And I'm reffing youth hockey, and the parents are ringing cowbells in my ears and screaming at me. And you know, I'm trying to watch the game objectively as possible, but I couldn't. I'm like, oh, that was a good play. Look at that. And yeah, so I didn't have the.
You were admiring the edgework, like, wow.
Yeah, no, that was
a
I
great
didn't want that,
crossover,
yeah.
good
Yeah,
pickup
but
there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't like getting heckled by the parents, so I didn't last too long. So I know referees, you know, you're don't have the luxury of the replay as the pro refs do, but yes, they're getting paid to do it, but they're also volunteering their time to referee, because if you don't have refs, you can't play, right? Yeah, and sometimes refs make bad calls; they drive you nuts, but not much you can do about it. And that's I tell the kids after a game, and they will say, well, you know, the ref ruined it. And I'm like, listen, the ref made his call, and that's it. You're not going to argue it. So stop arguing the ref's call. I've never, in all my years, seen a ref reverse his decision. But I mean, this is what you're telling the kids: like, don't argue. Just listen and.
Well, I think it's one thing I've noticed when you see some of the AAA coaches, they really don't care about what the referee is calling out there. Like, they're working with their players, they're teaching them. They just live with, like the cards that they're dealt in the situation, as long as nobody's doing anything stupid out there. I mean, they're working with their players. They're not so focused on what the referee calls and how he calls the game. It seems like. Do you notice that? Is there a difference at different levels? I mean, because if you go work a Pee Wee house game, you're probably going to have somebody really evaluating your decisions that you make versus a AAA coach that played in the NHL, and he's like, I'm really more interested in like what my players are doing out there.
Yeah, I mean, at the AAA level, you do get guys that are going to call nitpick sometimes, but most of the time, they let them play. I mean, you may be in a tournament, and in the first game, the refs let stuff go. In the second game, they called everything. So, I mean, there's not much you can do on that, and it's just confusing for the players sometimes because they don't know what they can do. And at the Bantam level, when they do start checking, you get a guy that's in his fourth stage of puberty against hitting a kid that hasn't even hit puberty yet, and whether it's a clean hit or not, if he gets lit up, a lot of times the refs call it just because it's an ugly hit. So I mean, yeah, the message to the referees.
You've touched on that now that we're talking about bantams and the size difference. Do you think maybe there should be checking at a younger age in order to offset that differential in size? Because you are right in what you're saying. You will see a kid that's like 220 going up a kid that's probably 90 pounds soaking wet in his equipment. And probably more so at like a house level league where somebody's just trying to learn, and you got another guy that may not be the best player on the team, but he's a big boy and he wants to take advantage of it. You do see that out there. I mean, you think checking should come into play a little bit earlier where the size is a little more even. You don't see the huge difference in Pee Wee. You do see a couple big boys in Pee Wee. Don't take me wrong, but not as much as you will when you get to the Bantam age.
Yeah, so I mean, you're bringing up different levels. So say house level versus AAA level, squirt major. I mean, yeah, you're not. It is important for kids to learn how to go into the boards properly, right, and receive some body contact. Making sure your head's up. The person attacking the player with the puck, don't hit from behind. No contact to the head. So I think it's important to teach them at a younger age. Yes, you made a good point about house league versus AAA.
Kevin, do you know? Do they still run checking clinics independently? Because I don't know. It just came up in my head.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys do. Brett Lebda did with his North Shore Development Academy. A lot of guys. HHD does it. I do it with my when I'm coaching it this time in the spring with the kids going from Pee Wee to Bantam. We work on it. Even guys that are already coaching on it, and at the pro level, we work a lot on puck protection, board drills, board battles, how to use your body to create space along the wall, counter hitting. Some guys coming to hit you, you can, you're allowed to lean into them.
I'm gonna say the best hit is when the guy's coming in. He's the aggressor. He's coming in. Guy has the puck and he just lays him out because he just
right.
When the guy gets there, he stands back and just knocks him down. And then it's amazing how often referees get yelled at for that play. And it's like, sorry to say, that guy was the aggressor. The guy just kind of stood up and defended himself. Like, no arms, no nothing, just a good shoulder on another shoulder. And it all happens because the one guy's trying to chase down the one guy with the puck, and he just outsmarts him. I think some of those are the best hits in the game when that happens. So,
right, because the guy giving a hit isn't expecting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It makes for a great play. I'm sorry. I enjoy the game with with more hitting and the more physical part. But I do understand too where the game has the rules that it has, so we have to go through it the way that we do. So, but
yeah, it's a tough job. I say referees are like artists. They have to their interpretation of the rules and how they. That's
good.
That's a good way of putting it, because there is an interpretation and game management. Yeah. Game management comes into a lot of things. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Every game has its own pulse.
For sure.
You can have the two teams play at 3:00 in the afternoon and have them again at 7:00.
Yeah.
And neither game will resemble each other.
It's a different ball game.
Well, it's the same thing as a coach too. Yeah. That's yeah. So it's interesting. So where else, Smokin' Scott? Where are we going next?
Wherever you want to go. It's your day here, Kevin.
This has been fun.
We're really glad to have you here. I mean, for those of you that have not done any of the skating classes, Brad, do we have some of those that are going to come up this summer? Are we going back into it? Because we do have ADP stuff coming up this weekend, going to the AAA. You want to talk about that a little bit quickly? And then,
the player development camp?
Yeah.
So the player development camp is the first step for Illinois players in order to try out for the Lex team. I think they still call it that. So the USA teams. And then they move on to the district, and then they keep moving along the process. And there are certain referee groups that start to work together in order to advance at the same time. And as they're advancing and the players advance in the rounds, the referee clinics are set up around those advancements. So like when I went, it was called regional camp. Now it's called futures camp, which that's, I think, the BANA majors. I believe that's their final tryout for USA. So the referees work with these top level players that are trying out to make the best of what they can. So it's very competitive and it's a lot of fun when you get to go to those camps. But here at our local level, that's the first stepping stone. And then we're working on some stuff in the district. Andy Hudson, who was on last week, was it last week or the week before? I think it was the week before.
Yeah, last week.
And he's working on trying to get all of us together that are independently doing it. And then, when I can acquire ice and find the time, we'll start some stuff up. It's also, I don't want to have, 30 people come out on the ice and it's we're not following whatever guideline it is. And then all of a sudden, somehow 30 of the referees that are out there, which also happen to be refereeing 15 games apiece that weekend, are now all, laid up. So
that's a good point.
It's a difficult place to be in. And I promise once our locals, I know everybody in every area is working together and independently to try and get everything started. So let's focus on positives because, when we started this last year and at the beginning of June or end of May, that's all we could kind of talk about because nothing else was going on. So let's look forward. Like I want to see where we're going to go with the season and how the spring's going to go and how important another shortened off season for the NHL, right? Or are they going to be basically back on schedule, Kev?
I do not know on that.
You don't know? Yeah, see, I don't know either.
Above my pay grade.
I understand. I just like I couldn't find the playoff form. I can find what the playoff format is until they come out of their conferences. Then it'll be interconf.
I've been curious about that. I just don't know how they're going to do that. I mean, I got to think that they have to create a bubble or some sort, or who knows? You just don't know.
So, what do you? So, Brad and Scott, what types of clinics is IHOA doing or AHI for skating skills for referees?
I'll let you take that, Brad.
So we run in our advanced development program, which we've switched the name to just officials development program basically, but it's still the ADP abbreviated. But we run that from month to month basis. I'm lucky enough that we have a lot of great clubs in the area that donated me ice. There were a lot of great leagues, high school leagues, that donated me ice at various locations. So we come out there and we work on some fundamentals of skating. And then we also work on top of that some more advanced positioning and some more advanced techniques for referees in order to facilitate getting up and down the ice the best they can with the best sight lines, because our game's a little different. We're not trying to get super close to the puck. While we're refereeing, we want to stay typically 10 to 15 feet behind, or we're skating backwards 10 to 15 feet in front of it. And sometimes there's log jams in the 3 official system. And there are some simple skating techniques that actually help you out and go a long way as you're trying to navigate your way from goal line to goal line, because the players are still out there. And we want to stay out of the way, which, Scott, is difficult, right? Some games.
Sometimes it is.
But yeah, we work on just some fundamental stuff. A big thing for referees is the cross under, because once you come down into the ice and you make your turn, you start your controlled turn. When you throw a cross under in, it naturally pushes us right back to the boards. So that's one thing that we work on because it makes you safer as you get over to the boards. But we touch on some things, but I could say running these ice sessions, an hour goes very fast, and we never ever get through everything that we want. And it's always a disappointment to us. And we always sit there afterwards and go, what could we have done better? How can we? I don't know if there's a perfect plan, but I haven't found it yet. But we kind of fell into a groove, me and the other instructional staff, and then we've had some volunteers come out. So, but yeah, we do quite a bit actually. but an hour is not a long time to be on the ice when you're running drills.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'd love to help out at some point. If you ever need help, let me know.
I would.
With you guys.
That would be amazing.
I would graciously accept 100,000 times. I appreciate the offer. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll get Scott out there with his kick save.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can I get a shout out to some of my favorite referees?
Absolutely.
Sure.
I heard you
Go
said.
ahead.
Did you say Mike Wagner's on here?
Yeah, Wags
Yes.
was on the show. I don't know if he's still out there, Mike. If you are, put something in the comment. But he was definitely on earlier. I know he's at work, so.
Yeah, Mike
Yep,
Wagner, Bill Furman, and Dave Zednick, John Campbell, Chucky Coaster. If anyone
Yeah,
knows Chucky Coaster. We love Chucky Coaster.
I can email him for you if you want.
Well, just tell him I'm giving him a shout out. Give him a shout out on the refs room.
Very good. Last chance. Tell us any place that you can send the youngsters for hockey this spring with you, Kevin. Any camps you got coming up?
I threw up the YouTube link, and
Okay,
I threw up
perfect.
Delaney Hockey in the comments for you already, sir.
All right.
Yeah, we have
awesome.
an end of the summer camp in at Heartland. It starts in the first week of August, so that's almost the end of summer. But school starts up, and it's a great way for players that have taken the summer off and focused on having fun in other sports. Just kind of get them on the ice for 3 hours, and then we have our staff work off ice with them in the at Heartland in their gym. Chris Affinati and Phil Bushbacher, do a great job. Just getting the kids, and it's basically just getting them some structure and showing them, okay, these are some of the things that the higher level players are doing. It's also a great way to, I was on the ice for 3 hours to stretch the body out and loosen up. So we do that.
Do you still
with
have
them.
the
And then,
drop-ins, Kevin, at Heartland?
the drop-ins, 6 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah,
in
so
the morning.
Tuesdays,
That's
this is
for
what
all
I used to
ages.
go to, guys, early in the morning, and you go over and see Kevin, his crew, and they will work with you, come in your hockey equipment, but, man, you want to learn Edgework, that's the place to go do it.
And then we have a lot of adults that maybe played hockey up until high school or after high school and haven't done anything in 25 years and get back into it. We have adults that are new to it. It is a great workout. It's an hour. It's in the morning. It's not cutting in to the day like some other adult activities.
Yep.
Sports, but they get a good workout and they're learning something, and the most of the adults that are out there want to be there, so they want to learn.
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot of fun to work with.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, an hour goes really quickly, so I want to thank you for
Always
your time,
does.
Kevin. We've wanted to have you on the show for quite some time, and I appreciate your taking time to do that with us. I do want to pass on condolences. I believe you know Blake Sorensen, but Blake lost his father over the holidays, and so we just wanted to send out our condolences on behalf of the ref community. And, we're thinking of you. I know Blake's going to be coming back on the show again fairly soon, as soon as he gets things taken care of. But anything else you guys want to cover before we say goodbye?
No, it was
right.
a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys. We do this every Wednesday. It's the Ref Room from Chicago. I'm Scott Smokin Silz, along with my man Brad Baumruck, and our special guest today, Chicago Blackhawks skating coach Kevin Delaney from Delaney Hockey, and also the Ice Hogs skating coach.
There you go.
And the Wisconsin University of Wisconsin Badgers skating coach and skating coach to many others out there. So, again,
Skating
thanks,
coach to
Kevin.
the world.
Skating coach to the world, and a good guy overall.
Yeah.
There we go. Another good hockey guy. All
Kick
right,
saves for everybody.
Kick saves for everybody. I like it. All right, guys. On behalf of Ref Room, thanks for joining us. You guys have a great week. We will see you soon.
Thanks for watching the Ref Room. If you have an idea for an upcoming show or guest, hit us up. Just email us, refroombrad@gmail.com.
That's right. Send your emails to Brad. Don't bother me.
You know what? We haven't gotten a lot there. Maybe you need to change that to your email address
probably
for
do.
this show.
Get some more. Let's put our text message number in there. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
let's
Have a
not do
great
that.
week. Again, Kevin, appreciate you, and we'll see you guys next
Thank you.
Wednesday here on the Ref Room. Peace out,
All right,
everybody.
thanks.